God bless you. You are welcome again. I believe the Lord has been doing you well. The Lord indeed bless you extremely. Now we are in part 3 of the topic. We are looking at those great miracles and those mighty supernatural works that God did before, within, and after the death of Jesus that people speak so less about. Now, this hour we want to look at the third thing. We have looked at that moment the cutting of the temple torn from top to bottom. We have established the fact that it was not by the workings of a human hand, and it was a supernatural indication of God to say that this one is who he claimed to be. You know, we have also looked at the part where we saw the way Jesus released his spirit. It will take a man who is in control of life and death to release his spirit as if he is so much known. No wonder he said, I have authority to give up my life and pick it again. We have in a passage discussed about the hours of darkness that hit Israel that day. You know, these were all authentication, great miracles around the life of Jesus. Even though people speak it less, I would wonder why people speak it less, but these are miracles for me that should continually come out, because these are miracles God deliberately did to authenticate the death of his son, to sign a signature that this person is indeed the Son of God, is indeed the Messiah. So we are looking at part 3 of it. The Bible said the earth shook. The earth shook. King James Version says, and the earth did quake. Now, what were they saying in essence? Very, very simple. Now, I have not seen any human being, at least with a little knowledge from research and maybe from a live event or whatever, that just died and suddenly there was an earthquake. Just because somebody died, there was an earthquake. Now, did God allow the earthquake to happen because he want to tamper with the earth? No. Now, those things were deliberately orchestrated by God to show evidence that this indeed is my son. You know, for you know what an earthquake is. Now, it could be a wide earthquake or a mild earthquake. Now, but there was an evidence that there was an earthquake, there was a shaking. You know, when somebody is in another country and at that moment where he died, the earth quaked, everybody becomes amazed. They say, why did you not notice a shaking? There was a shaking. And when people begin to trace it and they join pieces to pieces, they join part to part, they join the place of darkness, the mystery of darkness for hours. We know there are things like eclipse of the sun, but we know this is not an eclipse of the sun. This was a supernatural working of God that was evident that this was God. We saw the way he released his spirit. We saw the temple torn. Then we are seeing the earthquake. If they join these pieces of things that happened in one day within few hours, anybody who hears it is supposed to say, I believe that this is the Son of God. Even though we know that because of the workings of the weakness of men and the enemy of the gospel, Satan himself, who will want to confuse men with ideas that are false and say, you know, this can happen. Have you not heard of earthquake before? Now, we are not talking about these things happen by natural phenomenon rather. These are things that happened within the same time frame, within the same hours that a man was hung on the cross and about to give up his ghost. That was when all these things will happen. So when the Bible said the earth quake or the earth shook, this was for me a miracle that we saw. I don't know, you know, I have a burden. I don't know why these things are, they are not spoken as I desire it to be spoken, because if anybody comes to term with these miracles, believe and see truly, you know, it's possible for somebody to say these are fallacies, these are fabricated story. You know, this is why you will not see many people come and defend this against the truth. You know, both the Jews who were part of all of this thing years ago, you will hardly see anybody come out to want to discredit all of these happenings because it was evident. Now, before we begin to turn the curtain close in this series, I want to let you know that if a man wants to die and the man dies, the instance the man is releasing his spirit, that instance the curtain of the temple tore, that instance the earth quaked, there was an earthquake that instance, and many other things that we are going to see. Will you be in doubt to say this is not the Messiah? Is there anybody who have such a record around him? If you ask me, I will say there is no need for you to keep doubting that who God said he is or was is actually who he truly is. Now I want to give you an assignment. Go and make a research, and when we finish this series, at the end of it, we will now compile the whole things that we have discussed. We will now check which man, be it the religion of the white persons, the black persons, the brown persons, whatever color, whatever tongue, who is that person who died and just the death of that one single person commanded all of these supernatural miracles, commanded all of these evidences that we see. Bring the person up and tell us, and maybe we can begin to look at the person and say, perhaps this person is the Messiah. I don't doubt that there are people doing that. People can do magical miracles. There are people who can do one thing or the other. You see, but this person we are speaking about, checking from the series 1, series 2, and this series 3 or part 3, you will indeed know that this is not an ordinary person. So I don't know whether you are still doubting he believe. My dear sister, believe. Wherever you are watching me from, you are looking for an evidence. We don't even want to center on the other miracles, but we want to just bring even these things that people speak less of, and we want to create this awareness even among the Christians to see that beyond what they just think about their Lord, these were part of the things God permitted to amplify his sonship, to amplify his messiahship, if there's a word like that, to amplify or to authenticate this personality. May the Lord help you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord cause you to see. May the Lord cause you to believe in him. May the Spirit of the Lord bring conviction in you. And for those of us who have signed up for Jesus, may you continue to believe and work strong. May the Lord bless you. See you in the next series.